Example 2, King Edward and Queen Eleanor were 54 miles apart at dawn. So, it's dawn. This is Edward, this is Eleanor. Wait, hold on.
Queen.
Let's go King and Queen. All right. This is King Edward, this is Queen Eleanor. All right. They're 54 miles apart. All right. Edward began the journey to the meeting place at 8 a.m. at 3 miles per hour. 2 hours later, the Queen set out to meet him. If they met at 4 p.m., how fast did the Queen travel? So, I'm going to assume the meeting place is somewhere in the middle, because it wouldn't make sense for the King to go way over there and the Queen have to meet him over there somewhere. So I'm assuming they're meeting someplace in the middle. And let's say the meeting place is right here. I don't know where it's at, somewhere in the middle. All right? The King is going to the meeting place. The Queen is also going to the meeting place. We're going to assume they met each other at a specific time. King didn't get there 3 hours before she did or anything like that. They got there exactly the same time because they planned well. They probably had phones, you know. It's the 1600s. They probably had a telephone.
Yes.
Horses. Hey, yeah, meet me at such and such a time. So yeah, okay, all right.
Yep.
So I know what time I got to leave. I know exactly how fast my horse goes because it has a speedometer on it. So yeah, all right. So here we go. Horse with a speedometer too. It's good stuff. All right.
That's pretty good.
So the King goes some distance, the Queen goes some distance. Again, I don't care what time they left, how fast they're going. I just know they're traveling. They're moving from where they are to someplace else. So they travel some distance. The King's distance plus the Queen's distance is going to equal the total distance, 54. All right? So again, we know exactly how far apart they are. We know they're both going part of the distance. Their distances add up to the total distance. My categories are going to be King and Queen. If it was Queen Victoria and King Edward, I might go Edward and Victoria, but the fact that both their names start with E, I would probably go with King and Queen. Okay, now I need to care about how fast they're going. So again, once I've established this fact, this is my overall goal in the chart, but my problem is going to end up giving me this information here. Okay, I got to find rates and times out of the problem. So, how fast is the King traveling? 3 miles per hour. How fast is the Queen traveling? It doesn't tell us. In fact, it's asking us how fast she traveled. That tells us we don't know that number. Okay. I've used a single variable. That's all I'm allowed to use. So now I need to know the times. Okay. How much time did the King travel?
8.
Okay, we think 8?
Hours, I think, was it?
He left at 8. They met at 4, which would be 8 hours. Very good. Tricky. All right. Be careful when they start telling what time on the clock it is, that you actually look at how much time passes. He left at 8 a.m. They met at 4 p.m. 8 to noon is 4 hours. Noon to 4 is 4 more hours. That's a total of 8 hours passed. The Queen left 2 hours later. What time did she leave? At 10 a.m. From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. that's a total of 6 hours. Make sure when you do time, this is elapsed time, not what time it is on the clock. All right? If they do the same thing and they don't give you the ending time, you know the King left at 8 and the Queen left at 10, but we don't know what time they met. The King's time is T, the Queen's is T minus 2. Because 10 is 2 hours past 8, right? So he traveled 2 hours more than she did. Her time is 2 hours less. So be careful of that. In this case, they gave us beginning time and ending, beginning and ending, so we can figure out their elapsed time. So King Edward went a total of 24 miles. Queen Eleanor went a total of 6 R miles. How far did Queen Eleanor actually go?
30.
Very good, 30. We know his is 24, right? There's altogether 54. So we can very easily figure out she went 30 also. I can put it back in this equation, which is where I'm going to put it, but just know that, you know, start figuring out things, and if you do, you can use that information. If I just substitute stuff in here, King's distance 24 plus Queen's distance 6R equals 54. Move the 24 over, and that gets us our 6R equals 30 that we were expecting. We divide both sides by 6, we get R is equal to 5 miles per hour. How do I know it's miles per hour?
Tells you that in the problem.
His speed is miles per hour, so her speed is going to be the same unit. All right? Again, that's what they're asking us to find. The only two things we don't know in this specific problem, to start off with, we don't know how fast she's going or how far she goes. Those are the only two questions they could have asked me in this one. That would have required me to do all this work. All right? So keep that in mind. Whenever you look at a chart, every box here that has a letter in it represents something you do not know. It represents something they may ask for. So make sure you answer all the questions they ask. Sometimes they ask for a single thing, sometimes they ask for multiple things. Give me all the answers they ask for.